Hey guys, just a quick video to have a chat about the Moondyne cameras which we've been using in the field now for about 9 months. Now we're located in one of the wettest parts of Victoria, and these cameras have they've operated faultlessly in the conditions out there. We're pretty impressed with them in that way. Now Moondyne have two different types of cameras. They have their ghost eye tracker camera. That just operates as a normal trail camera, but then they also have their Moondyne Ghost Eye 3G Extreme camera. Now that's pretty unique. It has 3G capabilities, so that will actually send you an image to your phone or to an email address of your choice when it's activated. We'll discuss the 3G Extreme camera. Now the trigger time in this camera is about 0.4 seconds, which is pretty quick, so not much gets away from it. Now the image size, it takes 12 megapixel images. Now with the images, as I said earlier, it will actually send you an image to your phone, to your mobile phone. Now that image is a low resolution image, but it's still quite clear. It isn't the 12 megapixel image that is actually stored on the camera. So you've got to bear that in mind when you see some of the pictures that we post online, straight from our phones. The quality is a lot better on the actual SD card where it's stored. Now they actually take 1080p full HD video. The video is actually it's quite unreal. The clarity of the video is really also infrared, but they also use at night time a passive infrared system. So passive infrared is actually, it's more or less like a heat trigger. So it'll actually, when something warm walks past it, like an animal or a person, will actually trigger the camera. The beauty about this is a couple of factors that I like about it. Now at night time, the camera, unlike a conventional trail camera, which will actually expose itself to whoever's walking past it with a bit of IR lighting, the passive IR lighting has no glow to it at all. So it remains unseen. It remains totally dark when it's triggered at night. The other beauty about it too is because it works on a heat system, I'm able to put lures out which are actually motion lures right in front of the camera at night, and they don't constantly trigger the camera. Neither would bushes and that type of thing, which is a big issue that we usually have with trail cameras. Some of the stuff I'm doing now with lures would be more or less impossible to do with a basic trail camera. They'd just be triggering itself all night on the motion of the lures. So that's another good factor that I like about these cameras. The detection range on these sensors is about 25 meters, which is quite good. Sometimes it gets to the point where the range is so long that sometimes you can't see what's triggered the camera in a photo until you really zoom in. This, of course, is adjustable with a high, medium, and low PR sensitivity level. The camera also has a time-lapse capability. Now it also has a delay timer, which is also another great thing which I use quite often in the field. What this enables you to do is actually set the camera to function at certain times of the day. So if I'm after a nocturnal type animal, I'll have the camera so it doesn't operate till about, depending on time of year, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The camera will trigger or turn on, and it'll stop functioning at about 6 o'clock in the morning. This also comes in handy if you've got the camera on a farm or using it as a security sort of device. I mean, you can have it so that during the day it's not running. Then at night, when you're worried about your security, you can have it running. That's just another great aspect of this camera. You can see in this footage the unique mounting system that both the Moondyne cameras have. It's a two-piece system. The beauty about it is that you can have the actual back section mounted permanently to a fixture of some type, and then your front actual camera can just be easily unclipped. So you can remove it, check all the details, download images, whatsoever you want to do, and then just put it back into its little cradle and snap it back on there so it's safely mounted. Now this system, of course, it can leave the camera open to theft if somebody was able to come along and just disconnect it. So the camera has another purpose. You can actually remove the whole backing section. There's two screws in there that actually screw the camera itself onto the mounting bracket, and then you can securely, via a lock or anything like that, mount the actual mounting cradle to a tree or whatever. So it's a universal setup, so it can be an easily detached system, or you can have it permanently mounted securely depending on your situation. The camera design, as you see, it's quite small. It's not too large. camouflage colours. I've had these cameras hidden in some quite open places, and people have walked right past them, haven't even stopped to think to check the camera out. It's been that well hidden. The antenna sticking at the top. That's part of the 3G system, of course. Now I usually hide that with a couple of branches and stuff. And the other beauty about the camera is the ease of use. It's nothing that you got to read up on the instructions and all that. It sounds more complicated than what it is, but it really is quite easy to use. I've had no problems with that at all. The programming of it is quite easy. Speaking about programming, something unique to this camera is there is actually an iOS and also an Android app that you can get on your phone. As you can see in this footage with the app, I can actually go into each individual camera. I can turn the camera on and off on my mobile phone. It doesn't matter whereabouts I am, anywhere in Australia. I can do that. I can also program the camera. I can change settings such as its active time, its sensitivity, the amount of photos it's going to take. I can change the length of video it's going to take. Basically anything you really need to do with the camera you can do from your phone anywhere. I often sit here late at night and wonder what the camera's doing, so I can actually send it a request to send me a photo, and immediately the camera will send me back an SMS with a picture of what it's looking at, which is pretty cool. It's also great. If you've got a property like a farm property, you can have it mounted on a water tank or something like that, so you can keep track of what water's in your troughs, make sure your animals are okay, saves driving out into the paddock on a wet day. The purposes of that system is they're just endless. You're away anywhere overseas or something, or interstate. You're worried about your house, making sure it's all locked up. You can send the camera an SMS, and it will send you a picture of your car in the driveway, for instance, so you know everything's safe at home. It's a really, really good idea, and something that I've really started to use a lot of lately. Like I said, sometimes depending on the weather, if it's a really crappy day where there's not going to be much wildlife around, I'll send it a message and turn it off for a couple of hours, and that way it's sort of it's not wasting battery life. Windy days, if it's going to keep triggering with the daylight system, it can be triggered by branches moving. I can just send them a message and turn the camera off for a period of time, just to save space on the SD card. So the cameras are set up to operate on the Telstra NextG 3G phone service. Now, some people have actually mentioned that that's going to end very shortly and they're going to bring out 4G. That's not exactly the case. The 3G next generation system will keep functioning for years to come yet. In some areas, most of the rural areas, that's all we use is the 3G NextG network. That's actually a better network for rural areas than the 4G network will ever be. So when the 4G is rolled out, the 3G generation cameras are still going to be functioning, same as some of your phones, so that's just nothing to worry about in that fact. It's not like you're going to purchase one of these cameras and it's going to be obsolete in a matter of months or anything like that. That's not the case at all. 4G network is better for sending video and larger sort of data. Now that's something that's sort of that's going to play into the hands of these types of cameras down the track. That's all I'll say just now, but it's going to be something that's going to be pretty unique as well. So Moondyne themselves have spent considerable time on looking into the 3G chip that these cameras work on. Now there's quite a few different types of 3G chips, modules, whatever you like to call them. Some of them aren't even compatible with Australian networks. That's why you can see some of these cameras on eBay, for instance, and they're relatively cheaper. But the problem is, once you get them here, the 3G is really intermittent. It fails altogether, or it doesn't work altogether. It's just not designed for the Australian conditions like the Moondyne 3G camera has been. Now, with the system on this, it's got better coverage than my mobile phone. Quite often I'll set the cameras up and I'll be registering. They've got on the readout there on the screen. They've got all your readouts and it'll have the reception level. It's just like a normal bar system like you have in your mobile phone. They'll be registering 2 or 3 bars. Checking my mobile phone, there'll be no coverage at all. So, I'll set the camera up, I'll walk out, get a couple of kilometres away from where I set the cameras up, and my phone will start beeping, and it will show me the image of me setting it up. My phone hasn't been in reception, but the camera has been able to, and has forwarded me those images to my phone. The Moondyne tracker camera, the cheaper of the two models. Now that's it has the same 12 megapixel images and the 1080p video. Its trigger time is 0.8 seconds, so it's slightly longer to trigger than the normal 3G camera. And that's basically one of the main differences in it. Other than that, it's the same, but it doesn't have the 3G capabilities. Still a great camera. We've been happy with some of the places we've put it. It's lasted, it's lasting up quite well in the conditions. But value for money, I think the 3G camera is the way to go. Now the 3G camera, we operate it on, as it is, like we said, it's built for the 3G Telstra network. We operate it on a $30 a month plan with unlimited text messages. So it sends us as many pictures as it's like, and all it does is cost us $30 a month, which is really quite affordable. The camera doesn't have to be equipped with a SIM card for it to work, so you don't have to have a SIM card in it. It will just function like an ordinary trail camera and not send you any 3G images, of course, or anything like that. There'll be no 3G component without the SIM card, but it will actually work just the same as a normal trail camera. So this is great. I mean, sometimes we can actually put the camera in an area where there is no reception and it will still work. But we usually try and keep them in the areas where we've got reception, just to take full benefit and of the camera's capabilities. So that's about all I can say about the cameras. If you've got any questions, I guess, just post them in the comments. I'll try and answer them. If not, I'll 3G, Moondyne themselves are really quite supportive. They can offer full service and full repairs on their cameras as well, which is great. But as I said, the last 9 or so months out in the field all the time, we haven't had to have any problems with them at all. Battery wise, 8 AA batteries. We use the alkaline, usually Duracell batteries, which we've found to be quite good. Battery life is awesome, depending on how many triggers you have as per normal camera, I guess. There is a solar panel that you can actually purchase for the cameras. We haven't used those as yet. We just used the battery life. And thanks for watching, and we'll keep you posted with any updates on the Moondyne camera range, and also, we'll keep continuing to post the images that the camera sends us. Thanks, guys.